You've got to stay really close to that microphone.
Okay, I have you on live.
Well, good. Are we saying good morning to everybody? I'm a bit lost as to what we're doing. All right. So, oh, look at that. A notification on my phone says, and we are live. Just occurred to me, I've not switched my phone off. I've not put it on mute, so let's do that. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Boy, we had a morning of it. Poor Chris. We have hopefully solved the issue. We don't know if we've solved it entirely, but we hopefully have solved the issue of our sound problems. So we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that it works just as we hope that it would work. I do see some questions coming in, so that's good. So first of all, I'd like to say good morning to Grey Eagle, who is, as always, standing to my right side. And I would like to say good morning to Chris. Chris.
Good morning,
Chris.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're not quite as loud as I would like, but yes, I can hear you perfectly. We would actually like to say, sorry, Chris, I cut you off before you said hello, but we would like to say if anybody out there is having sound issues, please do let us know, because we are working on it. But you have to also understand we are not technological geniuses by any means. So anyway, good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Are you recovering from your from your exertions this morning with the tech people over at Restream?
Settling down.
Good. So what have you been up to this week, Chris?
Oh, goodness gracious. We've been preparing for your webinars that are coming up. We have your soul evolution class starting back up this week.
Tonight, in fact.
Yeah, so all those kinds of things.
So nothing, I mean, aside from working with me, what else have you been up to? Have you done anything nice this week since we spoke to you last?
I believe we sat out next to a beautiful waterfall here in Vermont. That's our way of getting away from what would be crowded beaches and things. We enjoyed a great storm, much like you're having right now, with lots of wind and thunderstorm and rain and hail. I love watching storms.
Well, the storm here is actually over. I think it sort of lasted for about 5 minutes. We had a storm yesterday which lasted probably for about an hour and a half. I mean, it was, really heavy thunder, heavy rain. And we've had the same this morning. I don't think it even lasted for an hour this morning, but the skies are clearing up. The rain has stopped. We had planned last night for the neighbours to come over. We were going to get together, but it was supposed to rain and rain and rain and rain. And it's about, say 5:30, it stopped raining. All of a sudden the skies were clear. And it was absolutely amazing because at about 6:30-ish, the neighbours came over. We sat out there until almost 12 o'clock last night, and it was gorgeous weather, absolutely beautiful. Sort of not too heavy, not too hot. It was just a perfect night, and more importantly, we had great guests and great conversation. I would actually love to know people's opinion on this. It's got nothing to do with me or my subject, but there is a theory. Somebody said last night. There's a theory that the Apollo moon, the journey to the moon and sending rockets to the moon and all the rest of it. I had no idea that this theory was out there, but apparently some people think that it actually never really happened, that it couldn't possibly have happened, and so on and so forth. But it reminded me of a story, Chris. I don't know if I've told you this story before, but it reminded me of a story of the Hopi Indians, the Hopi Nation, the American Native Nation. And well, it was quite a few years ago now. They allowed, for the very first time ever, they allowed non Native American into to interview one of their elders, and it was a huge honor for the reporter who went in there. And the reporter said to this Hopi elder, he said, "So then," he said, "what do you think about the fact that man has built a rocket and can fly to the moon?" And the Hopi elder looked at him a little bit puzzled, and he said, "But why would man build a rocket to go to the moon when man can go to the moon anytime he likes?" Did I ever tell you that story, Chris?
I have heard that, but either way, I love sometimes when you say things and I've heard them before, I hear them in a different way.
Well, I thought it was fascinating. I absolutely get what the Hopi elder said. For those of you out there who are still puzzling, what does he mean by that? We can go to the moon anytime we like. Maybe you've never heard of astral traveling. Maybe you've never heard of mind travel. And maybe you don't understand, those of you who read my books, when I talk about going back and down and through the hole. You've heard that, Chris. You've heard me say that, right?
Yes.
Going back to a time and a place. I mean, I have very, very often, many times over the years, visited people's houses, gone into people's kitchens, described the broken tile at the corner, so on and so forth, on the far left of the sink, or gone under somebody's bed and sort of taken a look there. One of my memorable, not because it was sort of amazing particularly, but one of my memorable visits, as I went back and down and back and through the hole, as I call it. In other words, moving out of my body, moving out of my physical body, and then being able to literally whiz anywhere you want to. Never mind the universe. You can go to anybody's house. And this particular time, I had two lovely clients who were regulars, and at some point we were chatting because she was telling me that they'd had sort of like a new security system put in, and that they had a safe that nobody would ever find, ever. And they were just doing all of this stuff. And Grey Eagle started chuckling, and he said, "So she thinks that nobody can find the hidden safe?" And he left. And so we actually went into her house using that technique of moving out slightly of my body and then just going to take a peek in her house. We went upstairs, we went into her bedroom, very nice bedroom it was actually, and moved the rug back, and they had floorboarding, and I was taken to the exact spot, pressed a little corner of the floorboarding, and the floorboard lifted up, and I put my hand in, and there was nothing there. But if you reached further under, there was the safe, and there was this fancy mechanism, and this poor woman, they just had all of this done, and she thought nobody could ever find all of her jewels and her money and all of the fancy papers that they had. And I think, it took me 5 minutes to find it, go in there and find it. It was lucky I wasn't a burglar, wasn't it? But it's just amazing. So when you have this amazing Hopi elder who has lived for so many years and is wise in the ways of spirituality, and wise in the ways of being able to use our body in ways that many people don't even realize that we can use them. It was when he's saying, why would man build a machine to go to the moon when we can go anyway? I hope now that those of you who were puzzled by that before can have a better understanding of what it is I'm saying now. But it's a fun thing to do. And I don't do it very often because it's naughty of me. And I only do it if I have permission. I must tell. Well, do I only do it? Yeah, mostly. Mostly, I'll only do it if I have permission to do it. but it's great sometimes to go and sort of take a look in people's houses and see what they're up to. And so going back and down and through the whole, it's not just about going back to see how somebody passed, how, you know, going back to see how an accident happened, or going back to understand how, you know, a tragedy occurred. We can do it for the smallest things as well as the bigger things. Anything to say about that, Chris, before we start with the questions and the comments?
Other than, as usual, you're right on.
All right.
I would like to say, Rosemary, that our lovely friends in Italy are writing to us in Italian. I did place in the links Google Translate. If people could translate first and write to us in English, then we can help answer.
Can you stay a little closer to the microphone, sweetheart?
Yes, I was saying that our non-English speakers, if they would go to Google Translate, there is a link in the chat room, then we can help answer questions that way.
So if we just say Italy, Google, we hope that they'll understand. Italy, and if anyone out there is Italian who can put that for us in our questions for people so they understand, maybe we should find it. Maybe we should sort of find it in Italian, Chris, and translate it into Italian so people can actually see that. So anyone out there who does not speak English, please use Google Translate, because we can't answer you otherwise. We'd love to have your questions, and we love the fact that you're visiting. So please, please, please use Google Translate. Okay, Chris, I've talked enough, right? Let's go ahead.
All right, Michael is on. He says,
Good morning.
hello, Rosemary. We did a podcast together 2 months ago, and you told me that my mother came through with a small child. My sister was pregnant with 2 twin boys, and one didn't survive. I don't see a question, though.
No, but Mike, I think I read this. I read what you wrote earlier on. I don't know where I read it. Maybe you put it on Messenger or something for me, and I was thrilled to bits that you finally found that the child that it's amazing. In the Eagle and the Rose, there is a story about a twin whose twin brother died, I think, when he was 4 days old. And of course, she grew up without a twin and never even considered that she was a twin. And it was only when I think she was, I'm going to say roughly about 56 years old, when she came to see me. And I saw this man standing behind her, also 56 years old, who kept talking about the fact that he was a twin. And because she hadn't grown up really understanding that she was a twin, it was the very last thing that she expected. And it is a great story. So there's much more to the story than I'm telling you, but I do think it's absolutely wonderful when these things happen. So Michael, I'm really, really pleased for you that you found, you understand now what I'm talking about. Thank goodness for that. Keep going, Chris.
Rebecca is on.
Morning, Rebecca.
My daughter Amanda Lynn has passed.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, Rebecca. First of all, let me say I'm so very sorry for your loss. But I think you do know, otherwise I don't think you'd be watching this show, would you? You do know that she's safe, that she's well, and that she has transitioned, that she is safe with your family in the spirit world. And in fact, I can honestly, safely say that all of your loved ones in the spirit world are safe and well. So please take comfort in that, my darling. And I think we'll put you in the healing book, because I think you do need some healing from us. Okay, Chris.
Vicky says, hi,
Morning,
Rosemary.
Vicky. Hi.
My son's passed on 12/20. His birth date is 11/9. Subtract birth date from passing date, you get 111. Is this a coincidence?
Oh, I don't believe in coincidences. We all know that there are no coincidences in life. I think that everything is there for a reason. Might I just say to you that once again, I'm so very sorry for your loss. I do believe that, there are many types of loss that we as human beings we have to encounter. There are so many different types of loss, but as far as I'm concerned, I am a mother and I am also a grandmother, and so I love saying that. Do you? Do you love saying I'm a mother and a grandmother? Because I know that it's such a joy for me and it's such a pleasure for me, and I know that so many people out there do not have these wonderful opportunities. But I, as a mother and a grandmother, have to say that the loss of a child has to be the very worst that we could possibly envision. And my heart goes out to all of you out there who have lost your children, but do please take heart. And I think, my darling, I, your son is well. Your children are safe and well. The hardships and the pain are what we suffer without them, I think, more than anything else. So please do understand that my heart goes out to all of you. I think you must be so brave, so courageous to even open your eyes in the morning, get out of bed in the morning, but somehow you do it, don't you? So courageous. Chris.
Judith says, if I may ask a question now for answer later, is there a word from my nephew David, who is on the other side of life?
I'm listening to Grey Eagle, and this now I've used this word at least twice. I'm going to use it again. Safe, safe, safe. That he is absolutely safe, safe, safe. That's as much as I can gather now, but he is safe. Maybe we'll come back to the question later. We'll see how we go with everybody's questions.
All right, Cheryl's on. She said, I was praying to Archangel Raphael a few days ago and smelled roses, very briefly, but sure it was roses. Are there certain smells associated with archangels?
I have no idea. I'm looking to Grey Eagle, and he's not answering, not giving me an answer. That one I do have to think about that one. But, and again, I'm checking with Grey Eagle here. I actually think that yes, I actually think that when we are praying or when we are connecting in whatever way we do, whether it's through meditation or whether we're in the kitchen cooking, we're just chatting to our loved ones in the spirit world. I often talk to my daddy when I'm in the kitchen, but I think that whatever we're doing and whenever we're praying, I do believe that energy that we are using and that purity of spirit that we are using in our prayers definitely attracts our loved ones to us. So I would certainly, think that roses connects to someone in your family. So I would sort of take a look and see who in your family was the one who absolutely adored roses, and you might try a grandmother. Even as I'm talking about this, I'm smelling roses myself. So take a look at those, because when we're praying, whether it's to our angels or whatever it is, whoever it is that we're praying to, our loved ones come around us in those moments because they know that we need them. So they come around us to show themselves to us, and very often we will have that just incredible sense of smell that tells us that they are around us. And if we have time later today, I'm going to tell you a smelly story. I'm going to tell you a story about smells, which I find very intriguing. So keep going, Chris, for now.
All right. Cheryl says, hi, Rosemary.
Hi, Cheryl.
My grandfather was a highly regarded medicine man. There's a word D-I-N-E. but he is now in the spirit world. Is he now a spirit guide to someone?
Um, oh, this is interesting. This is a question I've never been asked before, I have to say. That's a very interesting question. Now, Greg is giving me an answer for you. Please understand this does not necessarily apply to everybody in this circumstance, but in your case, my lovely, I feel that your grandfather, I'm listening to Grey Eagle here when I'm saying this, I feel that your grandfather has a lot of work to do helping and guiding those in the spirit world. So the answer to your question is no, I don't think that he is a spirit guide. However, I do think he is guiding. It's almost as if I could say his flock or his people. He is guiding them on the other side. So those who went before him, those of his people, I think he's still acting in a spiritual role, helping others, but also Gregor tells me that he is also learning more. Interesting question. Yes, Chris.
Adrian says, "Good morning. My husband is in the military and we live in Arizona. He is being deployed for a year and we might have to move after. Do you see us staying in Arizona or moving somewhere else?"
Well, you're asking a question here that, I mean, I just want to say to you, don't leave Arizona. It's such a beautiful place. But I know that not all of Arizona is beautiful. There are some awful places, but I suspect, I have a feeling that you're living in a really beautiful part of Arizona. And let me see, what was the question? Will you move afterwards? You will have a choice. I feel like a fortune teller doing this. You will have a choice, my love, so you can stay exactly where you are. If you stay where you are, I think what will happen is that you will make it a base that you can come and go from for a little while, for a short while. But it's your choice at the end of the day. So how nice is that? Yes, Chris.
Susan says, "I feel
Morning,
like
Susan.
I am drawn to make a shift in my career into the healing arts such as Reiki and sound healing, shamanic drumming, etc. Thoughts?"
Um, Again, I'm listening to Grey Eagle. So I would say go carefully, my love. Go carefully. Um, hmm. uh, there are many different aspects of the healing. There are many different aspects of natural therapies. Many are phenomenal. Many are wonderful. The ancient aunts are incredible. We should use them more and more and more. But, having a teacher who knows what they're doing gets a bit tricky and gets a bit tricky. So go carefully. Make sure that you really are fully knowledgeable about what it is that you want to do, and always follow your instincts. I think that eventually that you will do this. I'm just not sure if now is the right time. I think that you need to learn more, or to sort of gather a little bit more knowledge so that you can have. I mean, it's all very well going off and doing what you want to do, but we do need the security as well. So be careful, because I think there's an issue. Just giving it up and then moving forward with what you want to do is fantastic, and I encourage everybody to do it. However, do it carefully and make sure that you do have that security behind you. Money is not everything by any means. However, it's not fun living without it either. So, you do need to eat, you do need to pay the bills. Even if you lived out in the desert in a tent, you've still got to eat. You've still got to provide for yourself and for your family. So go carefully with it, my love. Yes, Chris.
Mark says, "Peace to both of you. My beloved mom birthed 11 children. I, being her eighth child and son, Oh, and her favorite, I believe, had miscarried a child between my two eldest siblings. Would Gray Eagle share who this child is, male or female? I'd love to know more about this sibling I've never met.
I was actually going to say, uh, thank you, Mark, first of all. We love having you on this show. Uh, um, I was going to say, gosh, that's too big a question for me today. However, um, is there a shortage of boys in your family, Mark? I don't know what's going on here. I do feel that there is, yeah, I'm listening to Grail, a male child. So I think you have a brother in the spirit world, and oh, and who is? I think you must know this already, Mark. You already know this. I think this young man is your guide, your guardian, your helper, whatever you want. I'm not going to say he's your angel. I don't want you to get the idea that he is. You know, when we do our Christmas webinar, we're going to be talking about angels, and I'm going to be describing properly what an angel is, what kinds of angels there are, etc., etc. We're going to it more thoroughly, but I can say that he is an angel for you. Let me put it that way. So I think that he is your guide and your inspiration, and if you sort of become more aware of him and sort of lean a little more to him, I'm not sure if I've got that right. I'm going to give you the initial G, and I think I could easily have got this wrong, but I think it sounds like Greg or something like that. Anyway, if I get more, I'll let you know. I hope that helps you. Chris.
Frederica asks,
Morning, Frederica.
Where is my love?
I don't know, darling. You got to give me a bit more than that. My love, when I'm at home in Florida, my love is cachorro. My true loves are my daughter and my grandson. You got to give me a bit more than that. I love the question, but it's a little bit too short. Chris.
Annie says, Hi, beautiful Rosemary.
Hi, darling.
Last week I asked you if you had a message from Chloe. And then
From?
Chloe.
Okay.
And then you said, Not right now. And then you said, Wait, I see dog tails. You were right. She was my 15-year-old pup. But then I got logged off. I almost fell off my chair when you said, This is a dog. Anything from Chloe? I keep feeling she passed because I didn't have time to get to the vet.
Oh, I'm so glad you came back on here. Gosh, I mean, it could have been your daughter, it could have been your sister, it could have been your mother. I mean, who would think that you were asking about a dog named Chloe? But I do remember this, and even as I'm talking to you, I do see now very, very waggy tail, a really, really excited waggy tail. So this should make you feel better. Yes, of course she's around you. Without a doubt, she's around you. I mean, you have a beautiful relationship with each other. Last night I was having a conversation. Somebody was talking about souls and insects. Do insects have souls? Do ants have souls? And so on. And I was trying to explain, to the chagrin of at least one person there, that I didn't believe that insects have souls, but I would check it out with Gregor and make sure. But our pets, our loved ones, those who connect with us, do have souls, and your Chloe is a beautiful soul. Was it your fault? Should you have gotten her to the vet earlier? No, it wasn't your fault. You couldn't have possibly gotten her to the vet earlier. And anyway, and you know this, my love, so please be at peace with this. It really, really was her time, but that doesn't mean you've lost her. She's there with you. She's often on the bed or by the bed, I'm not sure, but Yes, I'm glad you almost fell off your chair when I said I see a waggy tail, because you didn't really expect me to know who Chloe was, did you? I didn't expect me to know who Chloe was either, but Gregor knows these things and is very helpful. And besides which, I can see this beautiful, beautiful face, this puppy's face. Of course, she's with you. That's enough. That's all I'm saying about that. Yes, Chris, keep going.
Mary says,
Hi, Mary.
at one time you picked up that my youngest son, Nicholas, could be or have a gift of possible prediction. If so, do you or Gray Eagle have any advice for Nicholas now or in the future?
Let's be clear. I'm sure I didn't say that your son. I'm absolutely sure that I did not say that your son had a gift for prediction. I would never say that because it's irresponsible to say it anyway. But certainly, I probably would have said that he is probably an extraordinary. I'm listening to Gregor now as I'm talking to you, an extraordinarily sensitive boy who may well in his life in the future, if he chooses, he may well be able to sense, to see, to be aware of the spirit world much more so than many people are. My advice, okay, I can give this to you because my grandson, 7 years old, has this same absolute quality. He knows things, he sees things, he smells things, he connects with things. And, sometimes his imagination runs riot. But then he says things that I absolutely know to be accurate and true. And that gives me the sense of, okay, this part of what he's seeing or sensing is real. I never push him on it. So please don't push Nicholas on this. You can talk to him about it. You can tell him that there are people who have these, feelings. What I do with my grandson is I show him my old videos, my Lisa Gibbons videos, my Oprah videos. He sees me working. He actually sees me working and connecting with people. So he sees what I do. So he gets much more of a sense rather than me actually telling him. He can actually focus and see. So maybe you want your son to see somebody like myself working, and that's, so he can see how these things work. And when he starts asking you questions, or when he starts to say to you, maybe, I feel this or I see that, encourage him, absolutely. Encourage his sensitivity. Please tell him that, that being sensitive is the best thing to do, and there's no such thing as being oversensitive or too sensitive, because those of us who are ultra sensitive are the best people ever in the world, because we connect with and we feel for other people. It's painful though. It's not always a great place to be, but please encourage him to be more of that, and never disparage him or allow anyone else to disparage him if he gets upset or seemingly upset about the littlest things. So, at the moment, wait for him, but certainly, why not let him watch this show? Why not go to my shows and let him see how mediums work? Or there are other mediums who also work. You could just let him see for himself how, that there is another side to life. Not everybody will agree, but it's difficult because with Reese, my grandson, he wants to share this with his friends, but we've had to explain to him that not everybody knows and understands. So sometimes it's best not to talk about things unless somebody else starts up with a conversation. But to never be afraid to say, well, if it comes up, well, I believe, or this is what my Mosey does, or whatever. Never be afraid to give your opinion. So it's just be sensitive about it and wait for him to ask the questions. I think that's the best advice I can give you. Next one, Chris.
Penny says, hey, I don't know if you can do this here or not, but I have to ask. I have been putting my heart and soul into my new business and not getting the sales I need. Any way you can tell me if this is going to work? I feel very frustrated today, desperate for any input. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, it's a very, very difficult time. We all know that. It's a really difficult time for businesses, people, don't have money. Many people have been laid off of work. So many people out of work, and so many people worried, and so on. So I, I do feel that what you're doing, you will have success at, but I do feel also that you do need to persevere. And it's very hard because if you're not getting the money coming in, how can you manage to keep going? I do feel, this is from Grey Eagle, he's suggesting you can cut your costs. You can be extravagant when you should be not so extravagant. So pay attention to the amount of money that you are spending, the amount of outgoings, and so on. Trim back on your expenses, but I think it's worth persevering, darling. I can understand why you get despondent, but I think it's worth persevering. Chris.
All right. MP says, I just
M what?
P.
MP. Okay.
I just moved from my hometown temporarily for my sons, as the local train is shutting down for renovations. I want to return to find my quote home. I feel it might only be in 2 years. What do you sense?
Um, I'm not sensing anything. I'm actually listening to Grey Eagle. That's the difference. Somebody actually said to me the other day, "So you're a channeler?" And I said, "No, I'm not a channeler. I don't listen or sense or, well, I mean, obviously I do, but I when I'm connecting properly, which I try to do always, I'm always having a conversation with someone. I'm talking to someone. They're telling me something. I'm asking them questions. We're going back and forth with this. So as much as I do sense and I am aware of things going on around me, when I am connecting with the spirit world, I am not channeling. I am having a conversation. There's a massive, massive difference. Just wanted to point that out to all of you. So my conversation with Grey Eagle at the moment is, I think in your heart that this is a temporary move. I think it's unfortunately, it's a necessary move, but I absolutely do believe that you will go back and you will find that home that you're looking for. It may take you a little longer than you would hope for, but be patient, because I do believe, my darling, that it will happen. That's coming from Grey Eagle, just so you all know that. Keep going, Chris.
All right.
I keep thinking about the doggy tail. I keep thinking about little Chloe. Keep going.
This is a great way to start, just to know.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So RT says, "Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, darling.
I'm releasing from a toxic mother. I find you so helpful. Thanks."
A toxic what?
Mother.
Mother. Oh gosh. Well, I had one of those. Well, thank you, and thank you for sharing that. And it's so nice of you to say that. Unless you've been in the presence of a toxic person, or you've allowed a toxic person to invade your space, it's very hard for people to understand. It's very hard for people to understand that it's such a tough thing to have to deal with. But it's also very hard for people to understand that whether it's your mother, your brother, your sister, your best friend, whoever it is, you don't have to completely walk away from these people. You just have to stop allowing them to affect you. People can only do to you, you've heard me say this before so many times, people can only do to you what you allow them to do. And I am absolutely thrilled for you, my love, that you are moving away from this toxic environment, this, allowing this toxicity to invade you, because it's destructive. Be yourself, be your beautiful, beautiful self, and allow that gorgeous energy that you have to sort of shine through. Good for you. I'm thrilled to bits. Thank you for sharing. Yes, Chris.
All right. I'm going to mess up the first name. Subha. Subha.
Okay.
Says,
Zuba. If we got it wrong, we apologise. We can only do the best we can do, Chris. Keep going.
Okay. Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning.
I have recently started attending a circle with some wonderful universe sensitive individuals.
Oh,
I've seen a massive increase in the coincidences or answers coming from spirit. How do I see or communicate more with my spirit guides? What types of things did you do to practice your intuition more and achieve the psychic state?
oh golly. Well, I didn't look for a spirit guide. That is the first thing I did not look for. My feeling about spirit guides is perhaps very different than most people. So, what I'm going to advise you to do is forget about the spirit guides, forget about all of that nonsense, because truthfully, mostly, not always, but most of the time, it's what we want. It's what we want in our imagination. We can conjure things up, but it isn't necessarily real. So I would look to your family. I would look to someone who is close in your family, who you were close with. You might not have even known them that well, but there's this feeling or this intuition, as you call it, this feeling that you have a connection with someone in the spirit world. It might be a father, a grandfather, or a grandmother, something like that. But look to your family. Forget the spirit guide stuff. Please forget it, because it will trip you up and it will confuse you tremendously. Look to your family in the spirit world. They are your helpers. They are your guides. They are the ones who will steer you on the right path. If you are in a circle where it's all about spirit guides, this is only my opinion, but get out. You need to find people who have their feet on the ground, who understand that as much as we would all love a spirit guide, the majority of us do not have a spirit guide. A spirit guide is a highly evolved spiritual being. I liken it to the first year nurse at the hospital, and you are a first year, my lovely, in this area. A first year nurse in the hospital, or even a third or fourth year nurse, or even one of the big doctors, expects the head of the hospital, the whoever he is, the top of the tree surgeon, to walk around and teach us what we need to know. Of course, they're not going to do that. They don't have time to do that. They are far too busy dealing with the people who are going to, sort of do this on a full-time basis. I've suddenly realised I'm lecturing here, and I didn't mean to lecture. So I realised I've sort of got on my high horse a little bit. So I'll get off that. Do it carefully, my darling. Look to your family. Look to your family in the spirit world, because they're the ones who will help and guide you. And please be discerning. If you listen attentively and you use your intuition, you will be able to discern what is real from that is not real. And also, please be aware, all of you out there, there are so many wonderful people. There are so many fabulous, wonderful people who have good intentions, but good intentions, pave the road to hell. So I don't want you going down a path because you think somebody's so nice and they seem to know what they're talking about, but they actually don't, because that will lead you down that road to, I wouldn't say to hell, but certainly to confusion. So please pay attention and go slowly. There's no rush for this. Go slowly. Chris.
Peggy would like to know, are there any messages from her dad, Bruce?
Not at this moment in time, but don't give up. Keep coming back. Keep asking the question. You never know. But at this moment in time, no, we've got so many people to get through. I can see them all coming in, Chris, and I know you're going between. What are you going between? YouTube and Twitter and 2 Facebook pages. I don't know how you're doing it, but keep going, because you're doing a good job.
Thank you. Mark says, I know that my soulmate buddy waits for my return home. Will I find the true love that I had with him in another? I just turned 59 this June. It's very difficult to meet someone in my world. I believe Gray Eagle and you understand.
Absolutely, I do, Mark. Absolutely. Um, I don't think, I don't, oh gosh, I don't want to disappoint you here. I don't think you will ever find again that which you had because it was so special. But I do feel that there will be a couple of people that you will meet. You've got to put yourself out there, though. You know that, Mark, right? You've got to put yourself out there. But I do feel that there'll be a couple of opportunities for you to meet people who are very, very like-minded and will be fantastic and wonderful companions to you. So don't despair. Don't look for what you had. Look for something different in a way almost as beautiful, uh, and where you can be content. Being content is hard. It's not an easy thing. And if you find contentment in your lives, you don't necessarily need that mad, passionate, true love that is out there. But being content with who you are and being content with the people around you is extremely important, Mark. And I think you'll find that. So don't give up hope with that, my love. Chris.
Shazia says, "Good day, Rosemary. I want to ask you, there is a lot of heaviness inside me which is stopping my flow of life. The more I know, the more blockages I'm feeling. Is there something I need to know, or am I doing something wrong? Thank you."
If you've got this heaviness within you, my love, it's because you're holding on to something. Now, my students at the moment are doing the exercise of what we call the bottom brick, that first tiny little drop of poison. We come to this earth, I believe we come as pure souls, as beautiful souls. But of course, we have to live on this earth of ours. We have families, we have parents, or we have, whatever our environment is. At some point, it is inevitable at some point, most often when we are children, but at some point, no matter what kind of loving environment we have, somebody will say something or something will happen or a situation will occur that will make you feel less. That is that first teeny tiny drop of poison. And as you go along in life and as we grow in life, there will be others, some intentional and some not at all intentional, but nevertheless, who will say something, or you'll be in an environment where you will feel again less, and hence the wall begins to build. That first tiny drop of poison is that first brick in the wall. That second drop of poison is the second brick in the wall, so on and so forth. And what you need to do, and you may need help to do this, as I've said, my students are going through this process right now. It is not an easy process. It's very painful, and you have to be quite courageous, I think, also in order to do it and to achieve it correctly, because there are methods that we can use and exercises that we can do to help us with this. And we will be, in one of our webinars, we will be talking about this, and we will be doing this, and I'll be helping people through this. But you need to sort of find out that the source of that heaviness. Where did it come from initially? Once you find the source of the heaviness, you can look it head on and you can realize it for what it was. Just a little tiny drop of poison that you can, in fact, get rid of. Again, I'm going to use the phrase, and I used this earlier on, people can only do to you what you allow them to do. So, we do as human beings, and especially as children, we don't have much of an opportunity to stop it as children, but we allow people to make us feel less than. We allow people to make us, to make us feel, let's say, sort of not worthy. So we build a lack of self-worth, we build a lack of trust, we build a lack of trust in our own selves. And I think this is perhaps what's happened to you, my darling. I don't think you've got enough trust in yourself. I have immense trust in you. I know that if you let go of this pain, and you let go of the heartache, and you understand that you are your own responsibility. Nobody else is doing this to you. You are allowing it to happen, and you can stop it. And if you would like, we can put you on our healing list and send you light and love every day, which will certainly help for you to get rid of those heavy clouds. But it's all about you. You're going to have to do the work, and there's no need for it. You're a beautiful person. You just need to accept it. Chris.
Jacinta wants to know, is there another website to watch this on?
That's one for you, Chris.
Well, I can just say that you're broadcasting on 2 Facebook pages, your healing page and your main page. You're on Twitter and you're on YouTube.
So if you can't find me on one, you need to look for me on another. If you go to YouTube, it just simply stays up there. It just anytime you want to access it, you can do. So we are trying our best, and I think it's great that using Restream, we seem to have almost solved the problem of the sound effects going on. We're keeping our fingers crossed with that, and I think it's great that we can actually stream to 4 different places. We are going to be looking in the future to streaming in more than those 4 places, but for now, I would suggest, I don't know what medium you're using right now. I don't know where you're getting this from, but go to YouTube or similar. Chris.
Neil says, hi, Rosemary.
Hi, darling.
Did my mom appear on a photograph, or are we just seeing what we want to see?
Greg was laughing at you in a nice way, in a good way. Why are you asking me a question you already know the answer to? My darling, you know perfectly well that she did. It's amazing. I'm going to perhaps tell a story on Saturday morning. I have a story time. For those of you who don't know, we do story time on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. And I'm going to tell a story about how my father appeared. I'm going to tell you all about that, and I'm going to tell you how it is possible that those in the spirit world, using their energy, can actually impose their impression upon whether it's a photograph or whether it's an impression on someone else. I'm not going to tell you too much more about it, but I might change my mind. But I think on Saturday I'm going to tell that story because it's a great story, and it's how those in the spirit world, using their energy, can transpose their image either onto a photograph or onto a person, and it's a phenomenal thing to do. But I'm going to tell a story which is this sort of goes even beyond the transposing of the image. Chris, so yes, you did. Yes, there you are. You have the question. Yes, and you know perfectly well that you saw your mother, and you know perfectly well that it was real. But thank you for asking me. I think you just needed confirmation, didn't you? And so I've given it to you. So there you have it. Okay, Chris.
Janice says,
hi, Janice.
I'm so happy I stumbled onto this feed.
Aw.
If Yvette comes through, I just want her to know that I love her and I hope she is proud of me.
Oh, all right. Again, I'm listening to Grey Eagle. I don't see anyone. I don't see your Yvette at the moment. I can still see Chloe. I can still see Doggy Tails. Perhaps it's because I'm missing my Cachorro, maybe. But I can tell you that. So here's the message, and I think that Grey Eagle is actually probably getting this from Yvette. But the message is beyond proud, because you have. It's almost as if you've climbed mountains on an emotional level. So there you have it. And those in the spirit world who love you and who care about you can see this. So they are not just proud of you, my love, they are beyond proud of you, and they want you to keep up the good work. Chris.
I want to give you the heads up that it's 5 minutes of 12.
We've still got a little bit of time, have we, Chris?
I think we do.
I'm in your hands.
Okay. Jacinta wants to know, do you do paid readings?
I don't do readings. Did you say Lucinda or Jacinta?
Jacinta.
Jacinta. I'm sorry, I didn't quite get the name. Do I do paid readings? I don't do readings, but I do consultations. A reading implies that you're reading somebody's mind, and I think I did say earlier, when I talk to those in the spirit world, we have a conversation, we have a back and forth, and Gregor helps me with that, because it's not always clear. When you're talking to someone in the spirit world, it's easy for me to, did they say one word and they meant another word, and Gregor says no, this is what they meant, so we do it between us, and so I guess the answer is yes, we do. So I think this is the moment to say, if you are interested in having a private consultation with me, or if you are interested in knowing more about my books, my guided meditations, which you can find on where
Spotify?
Chris? Spotify and Amazon and all of those, iTunes. We have our guided meditations. If you want to know more about my shows or what we're doing, if you want to know more about my webinars, or if you would simply like to be put on my mailing list, you must request. We will, if you send me an email, we will not automatically put you on our mailing list. You must request that we do it. And you will probably get maybe 4 to 5 emails a month. We do not inundate you with them. We try very hard not to do that. So email us whatever it is you want to know more about, or more of the books, more about healing. Have I missed anything, Chris? More about consultations with me. Yes, they are paid. Unfortunately, you do have to pay me to do those, but it's got to pay my bills too. Email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. So that's Rosemary, Rosemary, at rosemaryaltea, rosemaryaltea, Altea, and we'll get back to you. If you email us and you haven't heard back within, let's say, 10 days or so, then then just email us and remind us that you sent us the email. We'll do our very best to get back to you as quickly as we possibly can. Chris.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Nilbagazi. I can't even say it. I'll embarrass myself here. Let's call it NG. Says, what is your understanding of past lives and true love?
And NG, we can't pronounce your name, but we love the fact that you've written into us. Past lives, I have my opinion on past lives is very different than most other people's. And if you go back into YouTube, or you go back and see my shows, you will see my opinion. Unfortunately, it's too long an explanation, but do I believe in reincarnation? I think some people do come back here and do this all over again, but it's those people who talk about the fact that everybody has to keep coming back, I call it the yo-yo syndrome. We live here, we die, we come back here, we're up and down, up and down, up and down. Those people who say, oh, I've had 6 lives and I've had 10 lives and all the rest of it. I personally don't believe that. I believe that we have one life which is continual, and we can live that continual life in whichever place we decide. I think the universe and the many universes that are out there are enormous, so we have enormous opportunities. So to just suppose that we're going back and forth is just a little bit too much for me to really accept. What do I think about true love? Gosh, it exists. If you find it, you're phenomenally lucky. And here's the thing about true love: it's not so hard to find it, but it's hard to hold on to. You know, I'll give you a little bit of advice, all of you out there who are looking for true love, or you have a special love but something's going wrong. I once said to an old boyfriend of mine, I believe love is like a weed. It will grow anywhere, under the most harsh of circumstances. A weed will grow, even push its way through concrete. So, in other words, even in the most impossible of situations, we can find love, and love will grow and thrive. But if you try really, really hard, you can even kill a weed. So, for those of you who have it, or you potentially have it, value it, nurture it, and take care of it. Love is like a weed. It will grow in the most impossible of circumstances, in the most impossible of conditions. But if you really try hard, as my ex, you realize my ex did not understand. If you abuse it, if you stamp on it, if you pour poison on it continually, you can even kill a weed. Did you like that, Chris? Was that a little piece of wisdom right there that, you know?
I feel like we need to frame that one.
Well, you know, maybe we'll do a seminar on that. How to nurture love, how to take care of love, and what we should or shouldn't do. You know, all of you out there, especially we women, you know, well, he never says anything and he never does anything. Well, men don't. They don't. And for all of you men out there who say, oh, Chris, she's all so sensitive and she cries at the drop of the hat and I can't deal with this. Well, women are sensitive. Live with it. Understand each other. Be patient with each other. Nurture each other. And when it gets really, really difficult and all you want to do is scream, will you just stop that? Take a step back and think, hold on a minute. I'm approaching it from the male point of view, or I'm approaching it from the female point of view. What's it like from his point of view? Try that. Any other questions, Chris? I know we've got tons and tons. We never get round to, you know, if you just found us, we are here every Thursday at 11 a.m. And thanks to my lovely friend Chris, we are continuing. We've not entirely lost Michelle. She's just at the moment tied up with other things, but we will be here. And the earlier you come on, so if you come on at 11 and you have your question ready, you're more likely to get your questions answered the earlier you come on. So do please, you know, try that. And again, if you need us or you need anything, or you just want to book a consultation, whatever it is, email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. Do we have time for a couple more questions, Chris, or are we done?
I think we've got time for a couple more.
Okay.
All right. So Joe says, I've always believed in the spirit world. My dear husband passed away unexpectedly of a massive heart attack. Once out in the flower garden, I was talking to him and asking him if he knew how much I appreciated him and loved him. All of a sudden, my entire body was wrapped in a sense of a warm blanket. I am sure it was him. I'm having such a difficult time getting used to life without his presence. How do I do this? It will be 2 years in September.
Oh, darling, you are one of those so fortunate people who had that wonderful true love, and you obviously nurtured it, and he's still trying to nurture you and to show you that he's around. You know that was real and that it was really him, right? How do you get over it? I don't think you're never going to get over it. We never get over losing someone who means that much to us. So stop trying to get over it. What you will learn to do is, and it's step by step, baby step by baby step, you'll learn to live with it, and you'll learn to live accepting it. But here's a little tip for all of you out there who don't quite know how to deal with the grief and how to live alone without their love, or without their beautiful children, whoever it is that you've lost. Just try and remember, I know it seems as if it's all about you. It's all about your grief. It's all about your pain. Of course it is. Of course it's all about you. You've lost that precious person. Of course it is all about you. And the pain is excruciating. And the loneliness is beyond belief. However, take a tiny step back from time to time in every day. And remember that it's not just all about you. It's about them as well. Ask yourself, what would your husband want you to do? He would want you to get out and about. He would want you to smile. As hard as it is to smile for yourself, it should be easier to smile for your loved ones in the spirit world. Give him the smile that he's looking for. At first, it might feel fake on your face. It might feel really tough giving those smiles. But eventually, in given time, those smiles will be real and they will be heartfelt. You know, we have to, if we possibly can, we don't have to, but if we possibly can, and if we love these people as much as we say, we have to live our best life. We have to live the rest of what we have in the best way we can for them. Because remember, they miss you too. And when they see your heartache, and when they see your heartbreak, and when they see your struggles, don't think that they're sitting on a cloud somewhere really happy and don't care, because they do. They see you. They are worried for you. They are helpless because they don't seem to be getting through to you. So for their sakes, remember, their grief is just as powerful as yours. So for their sakes, you know, join together in the endeavor of living the very best life that you know that he would want you to. Doesn't take the struggle away. You'll never get over his loss, but you will learn to live with it, and you'll become more and more positive on a daily basis. Is there anything else there, Chris?
Oh, Rosemary, you have just as much waiting for you as you've answered.
Oh, gosh. Maybe we'll just do more of this. I don't know what to say. Again, the webinars will be coming up. They will be longer. You know, we only can give you an hour, and thanks to Chris being so generous with her time, we've given you longer than an hour, and there's only so much we can say. But in a webinar, the webinars are going to be, we're going to have at least twice as much time. And some of our webinars will be even longer still. So we'll be able to sort of get to the questions more easily and more readily. So, you know, please, sort of, if you want to know more about that, again, Rosemary at rosemaryantair.com. And if you want to be put on the list, or if you want to be put on the email, if you put on the email, you'll know straight away when these things are organized and when we can get on with it, when you can actually book your tickets. The first is, we did say October 24th, so hold the date of October 24th. Then we're going to do a November one, and also we're going to do a December one. The December one, we are definitely going to be talking about angels, because after all, it is Christmas, right? And we're going to be doing our best with that. So please, you know, don't give up on us. We'll do our very best, but come in earlier next time with your questions, and we'll do our very best to answer as many as we can. I'm going to leave you again with this thought, because I do feel that it's really very important, because, you know, when we talk about love and true love, often people tend to think that we're talking about relationships between men and women, or relationships between men and men, or women and women, whatever it is. We tend to think of the romantic types of love. But when I talk about love, I'm talking about every kind of love that we could possibly have. Love of our children, love of our grandchildren. Remember, again, I'm going to say it so that you can all understand and truly, truly work towards doing something that nurtures the love that is within us all. Love is like a weed. And it will grow anywhere. It will grow in the worst of places. It will grow in the most difficult of places. It will grow under the worst of circumstances. Because love is the strength and the bond that that holds us all together. Love is the glue, and we should nurture it, feed it, tend it gently, and give it the gentleness and the respect and the honor that it deserves. But again, remember, if you try really, really hard, you can even kill a weed. You can stamp on it, you can pour poison over it. The vitriol and the anger that we find we hurl towards our loved ones sometimes, or they hurl towards us, or the indifference, the cruelty of the indifference of our partners. It's no good them saying, I love you, but no, we have to tend our love. We have to nurture our love. So please do not poison your love of others. Do not poison your relationships with others by hurling vitriol. Think twice about it. Step back. Be kind. Be gentle. As Grey Eagle would say, our world needs gentleness, and it truly does. So that's what we're promoting. Remember, if you try really, really hard, you can even kill a weed. Let's not do that today. Please, all of you out there, have a very, very wonderful and a very blessed rest of the day. Hopefully, on Saturday morning, I'm going to tell you a story. Of course, my stories are always true. They're all about my life or my experiences. But also, for those of you who didn't get your questions answered today, you can always connect in on Saturday, because after my story time, we will have a Q&A again. So you'll get an opportunity to ask more questions, and I will get an opportunity to do my best to answer them. So I'm sending love from Chloe to her mistress, and don't we love that? And I'm sending my love, which I do try to nurture within these shows, and I do try to show you all how important it is. So I'm sending my love to all of you. Please have a very, very blessed rest of the day. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to Grey Eagle. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. Have a very blessed rest of the day, and please have a very blessed weekend, everybody. I'll see you hopefully on Saturday morning. Bye-bye.